Before we get into the video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you never miss another video. Thank you. I have always been interested in exploration. My parents are big outdoorsy people and would take me on new outdoor adventures every other weekend. We would take long walks through the English countryside, stopping to take pictures of the landscapes and wildlife. Every now and then we would stumble upon an abandoned building or structure and would tentatively take a look around. We would never do anything that was unsafe. That was always my parents' first priority. We would call out to see if anyone had made the lonely, derelict places home. If no one replied, we'd take that as our invitation to have a look around. It fascinated and scared me in equal measures. These buildings always leave a question lingering in the back of my mind. Why did you leave? As I grew up, I naturally took on urban exploration as a hobby and even turned it into a YouTube channel enterprise. I upload videos every fortnight of my travels and share the long-forgotten stories of those places. I do as much research as I can beforehand so that I can build a picture of the place that it was at the height of its activity. I've visited many different abandoned places. Homes, hospitals, war outposts, schools, you name it. I receive most recommendations of places to visit from my subscribers who know of these places in their local area well. Some of them are notorious, infamous. Most of the time these stories have been twisted and manipulated with every retelling. But the places usually have nothing more sinister to them than spiders and mold. That was until the last place I visited. The last place I will ever visit. On the suggestion of a new subscriber, I travelled to an old lighthouse on the west coast of England, miles away from any town or village. The views from the slowly eroding cliff top were breathtaking, its beauty marred by the ugliness of the outline of the lighthouse. It was dirty, falling apart and unloved, untouched, apart from bravely foolish teens for many years. Armed with my GoPro and torch, I entered. As soon as the door closed behind me, an unnatural chill and quiet swept over me. Sounds of the crashing waves below were far more muted than they should have been. The light of my powerful torch swept around a room that must have once been an inviting living room. Now, all that was left was upturned furniture and dust. And my heart skipped a beat. Scratches on the floor, leading towards the spiral staircase, as if something had been dragged upstairs. I hesitated. Should I carry on? The content from this place was sure to be fantastic. But I heard my father's voice in my ear. Safety first. I called out to see if anyone was inside. I was met with only silence. I reasoned with myself that I would only be here for 15 minutes maximum. I started up the stairs. The floorboards creaked under my gait. I took each step at a time, testing my weight on each new step before fully committing. The claw marks were unnerving, but I kept telling myself that it was probably just foxes or something. I arrived at the second floor and started to explore an old bedroom. It was painted a pale lilac colour and must have been delightful when it was occupied. All around there were feminine touches that resonated with my own style and taste. I think I would have liked her. Next, I entered the ensuite bathroom and nearly gagged. There was a body of something furry inside the bathtub, quite clearly dead. It had been completely mutilated by something. Blood, flesh, and matted fur was everywhere. I shut the door and collapsed on the floor, taking in large gulps of breath to stop myself from being sick. The savagery of the attack on that creature was unsettling. After a few more minutes, I composed myself and forced myself to continue on. I'd come this far, so I may as well finish. But I promised myself not to stay too much longer, in case the animal that had caused the abomination next door came back. I crept up to the third and final floor and pushed open the door. It opened up to the most beautiful open space living room. As we were at the top of the lighthouse, the walls were windows, giving a 360 view of the sea and the surrounding countryside. It really was something to behold. I took my time, filming the room and the view from all angles. Out of nowhere, I heard a roar from below. It sounded like it was inside the building on the ground floor. Panicked, I ran to the door and slammed it shut, barricading myself in by pushing the upholstery against the door. I could hear it slashing around beneath me as I called the police. 999, what's your emergency? I need help. I'm at the Homerton Lighthouse and there is a vicious creature downstairs blocking my way out. I could hear it barreling up the stairs towards me. Okay, are you in a locked room, Mum? No, it's not locked, but there is furniture blocking the door. But please, get here now. It was outside the door, roaring and banging and slashing and spitting. It's outside the door. Please, hurry.
They won't get here in time.
I dropped the phone in absolute shock. The creature had spoken. It started to laugh.
It was so nice of you to come by and see me. Let me in, little girl. Let me in.
I screamed and ran out onto the balcony. I looked over to see how far the fall was. It was only 3 flights. Perhaps I'd survive and the police would find me before the creature. I climbed over the barrier. All the while the creature was hacking away at the wooden door, the only flimsy barrier between us. I was hanging over the edge, trying to put off the insanity of what I was about to do until I really had to. I thought about my parents. They had always made safety their first priority, and I had ignored that. I wouldn't be in this mess if I hadn't. And now, they were never going to see me again. They would never know what happened to me. There was a roar from inside as the creature made it past the door and sprinted through the room towards me. And as I let go of the railings and plunged into my fall, I realized that my GoPro had been recording everything.